Welcome, everyone. Today, we're going to talk about strategies to deal with long-term stress. And boy, have we had long-term stress this year. I've heard so many people saying, 2020, let's just cancel it. This year is just
I got one this morning, hashtag 2020, I'm over it.
I'm over it. Exactly. So many people feel that way. And even people who have generally don't have reason to have as much stress as some people we know, they're just getting really, really down. They're feeling very cornered. They're feeling very hopeless. And so, didn't you say you read that depression? Last time we talked about this, it had doubled.
And now it is tripled.
That fast, it's gone up.
So before we get to the content, hopefully you'll learn something amazing this week. And we want you to write it down, take a picture of it, post it on any of your social media sites. And then go to Brain Warriors Way podcast, leave us a comment, question, or review. And if we read it, which we're going to do this week, for winners, when we have guests, we often don't announce winners. We have 4 winners this week. We'll send you a copy of the cookbook or my new book, The End of Mental Illness. And I have our first winner, which is Carrie 0178 from the United States, titled Love Your Work. Thank you. I love your podcast and all the information you and the guest speakers bring to us. I am learning so much. I am 60 and have been feeling brain fog for a few years. So I am changing up my diet and supplements to continue to be the healthiest I can be for the rest of my life.
Love that.
I can't thank you enough. So Carrie, you are one of our winners. Thank you so much. So the incidence of depression in the general population, and it's actually remained fairly constant since 1980, when I decided to be a psychiatrist. It was about 6%. So about 6% or 20 million Americans at any point in time will experience significant depressive episodes. But it started to creep up. And before the pandemic, it was actually at 8%.
Yeah.
Well, now in a brand new study just out this week, it's at 25.7.
That's insane. It's gone up that fast, from 8% to 25.7.
It is tripled in 6 months.
Wow.
And I'm not okay with it. And if you think of social isolation, chronic negative news, the worry about getting sick, loved ones getting sick, losing your business, losing your job, being at home. Thankfully, I'm at home with somebody I like a whole bunch. And so I sort of like being at home. But if you're at home, in fact, I was having a conversation yesterday where this person had grown up in an alcoholic home and had been abused. The incidence of child abuse reported is dramatically less. But the reason it's dramatically less is children aren't around mandated reporters. So teachers are not seeing the bruises
they're at home.
on
They're
the
just
back
stuck
of
at
your
home.
legs, or janitors, coaches, nurses. Because, be honest, who really wants to go to the emergency room now? Because you're worried about COVID-19. And so people are not getting the help they need.
I feel like we throw the word depression and even anxiety around so much that we start to desensitize to what it really means. And so I think it's really important that we tap into what people are really feeling. I know when I actually had depression to a point I wanted to die. Depression can go anywhere from like, I just feel blah, like I don't want to go out and do anything, like I just don't want to get out of bed, or I just have no energy, all the way to you want to rip your freaking skin off. And that's how I was. Like you just can't get away from the overwhelming sense of hopelessness and sadness, and to the point that you can't really see a reason to live. In my case, thank God, I wouldn't consider doing that, but I did used to hope that something would happen. So I think it's really important to really not just mention depression because we keep saying it.
Well, it's sort of like, well, how do you know if
Right.
you're depressed? I mean, everybody during this pandemic
Has
has
had
had
moments,
down days, but it's when the down days stay, when it's gone on for 2 weeks or more,
and you start to feel
where you feel
hopeless.
sad, blue, hopeless, helpless, worthless, um, where you're not sleeping well, where your appetite either goes away and you lose weight, or you become ravenous and you gain a bunch of weight. So, sleep, appetite, concentration often goes down, and people go, "Oh my goodness, I have ADD." Now, ADD is something you have over a long period of time. But when you're exposed to chronic stress, so even if you're in a business that's doing well, given the isolation, the masks, the working from
Mhm.
home, the inability to like go to a movie, um, the chronic stress really begins to wear out your immune system.
And we've got teenagers at home, and I think that population is really struggling.
Very vulnerable.
So we had two of them get really depressed. The teenagers got depressed. The youngest one actually likes being home. So that was weird. We didn't expect that. She doesn't want to go back to school. But even there, there's a problem because now a lot of kids are really anxious and like winding themselves up about having to go back out into society. So either way you look at it, it's a problem. And so,
And also, the incidence of social anxiety has gone way up.
mhm.
The incidence of agoraphobia,
Yeah.
where you're not leaving your house, is gone way up. The
I
incidence of OCD, I saw someone at the clinic and she's like, I've been vindicated.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And even I've had those moments, and that's not like us. We're usually so busy. I've had those moments of like, I don't really want to go out. Like you just start to, but I catch myself and I'm like, okay, I want to be careful, but I don't want to get into this mindset of I can't do something.
well, we have a new clinic in Texas that is coming in Dallas, probably in January. And so we went to Texas
I
for a week.
I have to tell you, after 6 months of being in the house and feeling like life is never going to be normal again, we just have a new normal. That was just going to Texas and driving. Like we didn't like go, to the Bahamas, or we just like were working mostly, but I felt so refreshed. And we were super careful, but so refreshed, so just like there was hope again that things were going to sort of like be normal again
Yeah, but there
someday.
were stressful times, like just getting on a plane with
Yeah.
COVID
I mean, we
19. I
wiped everything
mean,
down, we wore masks, we're
yeah,
super careful.
but it was weird.
Yeah.
And then, I'm like Googling, I like pretty places. It's like, what's the prettiest city in Texas? And, Fredericksburg just
Right.
came up over and over again. And it was a Sunday. No, it wasn't a Saturday. And when we got out and started walking around
Oh, you
Fredericksburg,
freaked
well,
out.
apparently thousands of other people had that
It looked like
same.
going to
They
Disneyland.
Googled the same thing, and I
Yeah.
felt like I was at the Staples Center with
Yeah, it
18,000
was
people.
crazy.
And after about 5 minutes, I'm like, no, we're leaving.
The second we got over
Because
to where
I'm
there were
like, no, you're
people were
not.
shoulder to shoulder, and the minute we got over there, you were like, "I'm done. I'm leaving." I'm like,
And she was hungry
"Yeah, I'm not
and we
nice when
couldn't
I'm
find
hungry."
anything for 2 hours. So I got punished for 2 hours, which is not good. All right. So in this podcast, we talked about the effects of chronic stress. In the next podcast coming up, we're going to give you some strategies on how do you manage this?
Mhm.
How do brain warriors manage chronic stress? And so just know everybody's been exposed to it. Whether your life is going great or terrible, This has been a very stressful year, which can affect your mood, your level of anxiety, your
Mhm.
focus, your immune system. And uh, we're going to talk about how to manage long term stress. Leave us a comment, question, or review at brainwarriorswaypodcast.com. We'll be grateful and enter you into a raffle to win one of our books. Carrie 0178 is our winner of this podcast.
And if we got your review on iTunes, then please go to brainwarriorswaypodcast.com and go to the comment section, and we need to have a way to reach you. So we pick those up. We will get back to you, but we don't have a way to reach you if you left it on iTunes.
Yeah. And we are nearing 10 million downloads for the Brain Warriors Way podcast. So we want to thank you for that. Stay with us.
If you're enjoying the Brain Warriors Way podcast, please don't forget to subscribe so you'll always know when there's a new episode. And while you're at it, feel free to give us a review or 5-star rating, as that helps others find the podcast.
If you're considering coming to Amen Clinics or trying some of the brain healthy supplements from BrainMD, you can use the code podcast10 to get a 10% discount on a full evaluation at amenclinics.com or a 10% discount on all supplements at brainmdhealth.com. For more information, give us a call at 855-978-1363.